I'm your host Yeshi Chonzom with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. As India continues to battle with the deadly second COVID wave, its global allies have joined hands to help the nation with healthcare equipments and medicines. Even the communities within the country are coming up with all forms of assistance to strengthen the fight. Let's see how India is fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic.
As India fights the second wave of the pandemic, help is pouring in from around the globe. India received coronavirus aid from its allies, including Germany, Finland, Greece, Indonesia, and South Korea. The aircraft from European Union carried 176 ventilators from Germany, 324 oxygen cylinders from Finland, and 10 oxygen cylinders from Greece. Indian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi tweeted, saying spirit of solidarity and cooperation, a hallmark of India-European Union relations. India has been recording some 350,000 COVID cases every day as the second wave has gripped a nation of over 1.35 billion population. To flatten the curve, India has recently allowed COVID-19 jabs for all above 18 years under the third phase of vaccination drive. It aims to widen the vaccination drive and attain herd immunity among the people.
हमारी कोशिश होगी हम इसमें से मैक्सिमम जितने बेनिफिशियरीज कवर कर सकें उतने हम कवर कर देंगे इसके साथ. और आज की डेट में आज हमारे पास लुधियाना शहर के अंदर 3 सेंटरों पर कोविशील्ड की डोज चल रही है. और हाँ, कोवैक्सीन के तो हमारी चल ही रही है. सेकंड डोज के लिए हमारे पास 4 साइट्स हैं लुधियाना शहर में. वो चारों साइट्स पे कोविशील्ड कोवैक्सीन की सेकंड डोज हम दे रहे हैं.
Many parts of the country, including capital New Delhi, see drastic drop in COVID-19 cases. Experts believe the decline in cases stressed on the importance of strict restrictions like lockdown, social distancing, and mask discipline.
जो ये डिप हुआ है दैट इज़ लाइक ड्यू टू पीपल लाइक हमारे जो लोग हैं अभी वो थोड़ा सा इस चीज़ को सीरियसली लेने लगे हैं, कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर अपनाने लगे हैं, तो डिप आया है. तो इससे हमें बस सीख लेनी है कि अगर हम यही अपना मेंटेन करते रहेंगे तो हमारे लिए ठीक रहेगा. लेकिन अगर हमने इसको लाइटली लिया और अगर हमने वो अपना जो बिहेवियर है उसको फिर से नॉर्मलाइज किया तो दोबारा से वही पीक आ सकते हैं.
The communities, NGOs, and various other institutions have also joined hands to help the people suffering due to COVID-19. A government women's college in southern Thiruvananthapuram has converted some of its buildings into oxygen wardroom and storage center to ensure adequate supply of oxygen to the hospitals amid a raging pandemic. A 20-member team of volunteers is working round the clock to provide oxygen to the hospitals across the city that are in dire need of the life-saving gas to stave COVID-19 deaths. Medical oxygen has become a major concern, with hospitals across the country issuing SOS calls that they were running out of supplies of the life-saving gas because of the crush of patients.
Actually, our oxygen war room is meant for monitoring the oxygen consumption and providing adequate amount of oxygen for hospitals which are in need.
The World Health Organization, in its weekly epidemiological report, said that India accounted for 46% of global COVID-19 cases. Public health experts believe India will not reach herd immunity anytime soon but say hospitalization and deaths will reduce significantly in 6 to 9 months.
COVID-19 virus has extremely affected millions across the world. In South Asia, the situation is grim as authorities are taking all possible measures to curb the menace of coronavirus. Besides India, many other countries in the region are struggling with the situation. Take a look. Sri Lanka imposed a 3-day nationwide lockdown starting from May 13 as the average number of new coronavirus infections reported in the South Asian country each day peaks at a new high. With an average of more than 2,200 new cases reported daily, authorities introduced a series of measures to limit the movement on its residents as the island nation battles a third wave of the virus while suffering a restricted supply of vaccines from neighbouring India. The total number of infections on the island nation stands over 136,000 cases. Its total number of active cases is higher than any point since the pandemic began. Infections surged after crowded celebrations for traditional New Year last month. Sri Lanka is the first country in South Asia to approve the Pfizer vaccine. It has also approved Russia's Sputnik and China's Sinopharm vaccines for emergency use.
ඉතින් අයර නෑනේ දැන් උදේ ආවේ මම දැන් උදේ 8:00ට ආවා දැන් තාම 6:00ක් ගියේ නෑ තාම මෙතෙන්ටලා ඉන්නවා ඉතින් අපේ ජීවත් වීම ඉතින් දේශපාලකයෝ බලන්නේ නැහැ රටේ ඉන්න ලොකු මිනිස්සු බලන්නේ නැහැ ඉතින් අපි අම්ම කරගත්තොත් පමණයි අපි කණ්ඩ බොන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ලොක්ඩවුන් වෙනවා කියලා කිව්වනේ ඔක්කොටම කිව්වා වැඩපොලේ ඉඳලා ආවේ
In Nepal, the coronavirus cases are witnessing an upward trend. In response, the authorities in Kathmandu Valley ramped up measures to curb the spread of the disease and announced the extension of the lockdown till May 27. The Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, meanwhile, extended the suspension of international flights till May 31st midnight, except 2 flights a week between Kathmandu and New Delhi under air travel bubble arrangement. Meanwhile, a sexagenarian woodcutter in Kathmandu is leaving no stone unturned in providing an uninterrupted supply of logs for the cremation of COVID-19 patients. Suka Bahadur Tamang has been working as a woodcutter at the famous Pashupatinath temple for the past 30 years and is making sure that the funeral pyres at the temple crematorium and other crematoriums in the city never face any shortage and people do not have to wait for wood.
अब कोभिडले गर्दामै अब चौबरे बढिसकेको छ मास्लो घाटले भन्दै नि यो कोभिडले बढी दाउरा चाहिरहेको छ अहिले
In Pakistan, as many as 48 people lost their lives to coronavirus on the second day of Eid, which is being celebrated under strict COVID-19 protocols. According to the fresh statistics issued by the National Command and Operations Center, the positivity ratio in the country remained 8.19%. The death toll due to the pandemic in the country has now reached over 19,000. In many developing countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, the lack of healthcare infrastructure results in identification of people infected with COVID-19. And now, in our section of Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent that made news this week.
Malaysia's government has imposed such stricter new measures as preventing mass gatherings celebrating the end of Ramadan, as the country is in a critical condition now, with the public and private hospitals running out of ICU beds. 6 days after imposing a movement control order in just one state, the Prime Minister has announced that it would be extended nationwide and run through until June 7. Most economic sectors will be allowed to operate, but educational institutions will be closed. and interstate and inter-district travels are barred. All house-to-house visits as well as the Eid tradition of visiting the graves of loved ones have been barred. And at the mosque that can accommodate more than 1,000 worshippers, only 50 people are allowed to attend communal prayers and just 20 at smaller mosques. Researchers at Singapore's Nanyang Technological University have found a way to talk to Venus flytraps using smartphones. LUO attaches tiny conductive electrodes to the trap portion of the plant and then sends electrical signals to the electrodes using an application on a smartphone. The signal tells the plant to close the trap and it slowly shuts as it does when catching a fly. The scientists have also detached the trap portion and attached it to a robotic arm. The electrical signals from the plant can also be plotted onto a graph, and the fluctuations which are recorded can express the state of the plant's health. This is a delicious Vietnamese coffee made by mixing condensed milk with tasteful coffee. Set of a coffee and sandwich is famous local breakfast in Vietnam. UCC is a coffee making company that contributes to coffee production around the world. They help producers make high quality and sustainable production of coffee. UCC is attracting attention as a coffee production area in Vietnam. The announcement of UCC Quality Contest 2021 Vietnam was held online with participants from Japan and Vietnam. This contest has been held since 2001 with the goal of developing coffee industry, and this year it was held for coffee farmers in Dalet, Vietnam. UCC staff visited local farmers to assess the taste of coffee and management of farm, and to check with UCC Original Sustainable List. In UCC contest, 7 farmers won the prize. The winner was Lê Thi Chung, who participated in this contest for the first time. A Vietnamese chef was also invited to make Vietnamese coffee and sandwich.
Asia におけるコーヒーというのはこれから引用されるということにおいても栽培をするということにおいても大変重要というふうに考えております。生産国の方々がモチベーション高くですね、コーヒー栽培に誇りを持って取り組んでいただかないと、いくら消費国の私たちのところにいい製造技術があったとしてもですね、生豆のクオリティというところが非常に重要になってくると思っておりますので、いつでもどこでも美味しいコーヒーを世界各国の皆様にお召し上がりいただけるようにするためにも、やはり持続可能性ということはもう外して考えることはできないと思っております。でかつですね、今私たち将来に向けてどういうことをお約束するというようなコミットメントの部分をご公表できるようにということで準備もしておりますので、今後の取り組みにもぜひご期待いただきたいなというふうに思います。
This year, UCC Quality Contest is celebrated its 20th anniversary, and commemorations have been held in 6 countries including Africa and China. For the first time, UCC has set Sustainable Development Goals perspective on a checklist, and it is contributing to the development of a new coffee culture around the world. Despite the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, preparations for Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics are in full swing in Japan. The torch relay, launched on March 25th from J Village Football Training Center in Fukushima Prefecture, is continuing around Japan. This preparation is being progressed decisively because Tokyo Olympics is the symbol of overcoming Corona crisis. In March 2020, Olympics torch arrived at Fukushima from Athens. After decision of postpone of Tokyo Olympics, torch relay was suspended. Fukushima, which suffered massive earthquake in 2011, has the importance to launch torch relay because it is a symbol of getting light over a big disaster. Torch relay is going around Japan to prevent corona infection. The audiences to support the Olympic torch relay are limited due to pandemic. People are watching it on the TV or internet communication and are supporting the Olympics event. The runners are very cheerful and cooperative.
大会が安全安心な大会としなければならない。そして2つ目、この新型コロナウイルス感染症対策をしっかりと当たっていかなければならない。この点については当然のことでございます。特にこのコロナ対策、これは極めて重要でございます。今日も橋本会長、丸川大臣と同じ席に並んでおるはずだったんですけれども、直前までコロナ対策の会議がございまして、私は新宿の都庁からこの会議に参加をいたしております。世界が一丸となって。
Japan is making big efforts to hold safe Olympics and Paralympics amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Pakistan occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, where the people have accused Islamabad for its discriminatory policies against them. Locals carried out protests against Pakistan to raise their concerns before the international community. The situation remains grim in the occupied region since Pakistan allowed China to construct multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC) in the region.
People in the illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan took to streets against Islamabad's misrule, which they said has only worsened since the party of Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan got legislative control of the region. They accused Imran Khan and his party of discriminating against the people of Gilgit-Baltistan by not providing them with the special packages they need and were promised.
इमरान खान को ये पैगाम देना चाहते हैं, खालिद खुर्शीद को ये पैगाम देना चाहते हैं कि नाइंसाफी का सिलसिला बंद करो। जो झूठे तुमने ऐलानात किए थे, उन ऐलानात का आप हमें जवाब दो। इस सिलसिले में आज का ये एहतजाज symbolic एहतजाज है।
Last year, the political opponents of Imran Khan had accused him of exercising his power to manage elections in the region. They said the precarious situation they are in today is exactly what Khan had planned then. They, however, said they are not going to sit and regret this time around.
मुझे उम्मीद है कि हमारे नौजवान एक-एक शख्स, एक-एक लड़का, एक-एक लड़की जिनके बारे में अभी ये ख्याल है कि ये कोई नाचते गाने में मसरूफ है, ये चलते फिरते बम बनेंगे, चलते फिरते बम। हम खुद बनाएंगे, हम बनाएंगे, हम बनाएंगे।
While Islamabad is accused of carrying out indiscriminate exploitation in the past 7 decades, the situation has further deteriorated since China's economic interests aligned with Pakistani agenda. And now, Pakistan has been arbitrarily executing economically and politically destructive ideas for people of Gilgit-Baltistan at the behest of Beijing. The leaders said they were not launching their planned widespread campaigns immediately owing to a surge in COVID infections, but will hit harder as soon as the situation normalizes.
जो ही हालात नॉर्मल होंगे तो हम तरीके से गेजर के एक-एक गांव, एक-एक तहसील में जाकर माहौल बनाएंगे, लोगों के साथ बात करेंगे और गेजर को मुकम्मल तौर पर हम जैम कर देंगे।
Gilgit-Baltistan has been under the illegal control of Pakistan for over 7 decades, and people of the region have been increasingly demanding freedom. But so far, they have made no gains, with their voices being suppressed violently by the Pakistani state.
Moving on, Muslims across South Asia celebrated the festival of Eid-ul-Fitr amid COVID-19 outbreak in the region. They bid goodbye to Ramadan, the holy month during which they fasted for a month. It was all happiness and fervour from India to Afghanistan, from Bangladesh to island nation of Sri Lanka on the occasion. Have a look.
Celebrating the festival of Eid-ul-Fitr in the wake of coronavirus. Muslims across the world and in South Asia celebrated the festival by following restrictions imposed due to pandemic. On this auspicious occasion, thousands of Muslim worshippers in Afghanistan's capital city Kabul offered namaz, the religious prayers in Islam. Meanwhile, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, while extending Eid wishes to Afghan people, said the withdrawal of foreign troops represented the greatest opportunity for the country as people marked the Muslim religious holiday of Eid-ul-Fitr.
برآمدن قوای بین‌المللی از افغانستان باعث که در ظرف چند ماه آینده ان شاء الله تعالی بخیر انجام میشه بزرگترین فرصت در تاریخ معاصر
ماه مبارک رمضان فضل خدا خلاص شد و مسلمان‌ها دو عید داره. عید اول ماست بخیر به خوبی خوشی تمام شود ان شاء الله که کدام انتحاری انفجار نشه در وطن ما.
In neighboring Pakistan, people celebrated Eid-ul-Fitr with mass prayers and exchange of greetings. This year's celebration comes as Pakistan struggles to contain a third wave of coronavirus infections. However, Islamic bodies across Pakistan have urged Muslims to stay indoors and offer prayers at home. Despite government advisories for citizens to maintain social distancing and avoid large gatherings, hundreds of worshippers, many without masks, were seen attending prayers outside a mosque in Karachi. Worshippers said they prayed for an end to the coronavirus pandemic.
रमज़ानुल मुबारक के हवाले से ख़ास तौर पे हर मस्जिद में जिधर हमने नमाज़ें पढ़ी हैं, जिधर तरावी पढ़ी है, खुसूसी दुआएं की गई कोरोना के हवाले से.
In various parts of India, Muslims celebrated the festival in the shadow of coronavirus. Mosques and special prayer grounds were filled with fewer worshippers due to outbreak of the COVID-19 virus.
देखिए महसूस क्या करना है, पिछले साल का जो कोरोना संक्रमित था वो तो बहुत बुरा गया था. उसमें तो हम लोग पूरे दिन घर में थे, इबादत रोजा नमाज सब घर में हुआ था. कुछ भी नहीं हो पाया. इस बार भी अगर अवसर मिला लेकिन कुछ हो नहीं पा रहा. हालत बहुत ख़राब है, पूरी मार्केट बंद पड़ी हुई है. लोग तरसते हैं, कारोबार से तरसते हैं, भुखमरी के कागार पे हैं. कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है कि पिछले साल जैसा था, इस साल भी ऐसा ही गुजर रहा है.
In Bangladesh, a large number of people traveled to the ancestral homes and villages to celebrate Eid-ul-Fitr. Around 20 million people live in Dhaka because of work and leave the capital to celebrate holidays with their families in their hometowns.
The festival of Eid-ul-Fitr symbolizes our willingness to give up some of our own bounties in order to strengthen ties of friendship and help those who are in need. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.